Hi, I'm Jackie, your Jackie of all trades, and today is all about letting you guys know who I am and what I'm all about. To start, my name's actually not Jackie, it's Isabel, but I do prefer Jackie because I do consider myself a jack of all trades. Aside from car repair, I have many interests, including baking, I have a garden, I make jewelry, I do photography, and I also consider myself a budding entrepreneur. And since this already sounds like someone's dating profile, let me just add that I also like long walks on the beach. This wasn't supposed to become another hobby onto that long list. It was mainly being done out of necessity rather than pleasure. I had gone into a couple accidents in my 2010 Camry, and I didn't have the money to do the repairs, to pay someone to do it. So I just learned how to do it myself, and that's really where my passion for car repair started. Once I finished doing all those repairs, it took me about 6 months to do it. But once I finished doing all the repairs for the Camry, I had really caught the bug for car repair. And then the Eclipse enters my life serendipitously. Basically, a friend of mine had taken his anger out on his car, put a long story short, and had beaten the crap out of the car. And it was all because he couldn't get it to start one day. He took a door off, he removed the carpet, and that was in an attempt to figure out the problem. But then he also shattered the rear glass window and attempted to shatter the main windshield and put dents all over the car. I think he just got really frustrated one day or something. I don't know. It was stuck on a busy street and it had no door on it. Had glass all over the place, and I was not very surprised when the police were called and told him that he had one day to move the car. I was surprised, however, at his solution to that problem. His solution was to call the junk car guys and basically have them pay him $200 to take it off his hands. $200 freaking. I told him I would pay him $200 right here, right then, and I would take it off his hands that day. He agreed. I hit up AAA, and I stood there amused at the sight of the tow driver taking the sight of that beaten up car as it got pulled up the ramp. 30 miles later, it was at my house. At first, my plan was simple. I was going to retrace my friend Jeremy's steps and basically find the problem that way. Unfortunately, there were no tracks to retrace, as Jeremy had no idea what he might have unplugged, detached, removed. Who knows? But I am a very stubborn person. If you haven't figured that out yet, you will soon enough. And so I knew I had to at least get it started. So I bought 4 volumes of the Mitsubishi Motors repair manual, and I got to work. Some days were harder than others, but on those days that were, pretty difficult, I would just switch to more cosmetic-based things because I had already had an understanding of what that was all about, and just kind of go back and forth. And I was very happy when only 2 months after I had gotten the car, I was able to get it started. I was ecstatic. I adjusted the clutch pedal height, and I thought that was it, and it was all good. And I drove it to Safeway. I drove it to the gas station. I drove it home, left it in the driveway, left it all good, perfect, didn't touch it till the next day, tried to start it that next day, and it would not start. And I had no idea why. And I was about to throw in the towel at that point because I was just so frustrated. But I kept going, and month after month after month after month after month, kept at it until finally, 8 months later, just 2 weeks ago, I was able to actually figure out what the problem was. And the problem was that it wasn't grounded correctly, which is very confusing considering that I hadn't gotten it started that one day. And so how did it get started if it had a grounding issue and the inline fuse that I had installed to fix the problem hadn't been installed yet? Don't know. But regardless, to this day, have no problem since. Very happy. Originally, my plan was to get the car looking immaculate and then sell it for like $10,000, but plans changed. My friend Jeremy had actually recently passed away of a drug overdose, and this car was like, even though he had taken his anger out on the car, it was a car that he loved. And actually our plan was that I was going to sell it back to him because he saw how much work I was putting into it and basically wanted to have the car back. And so that was going to be our plan. But unfortunately, like I said, plans change. I am grateful, though, that he was able to see the car running again. He came over to my house a couple days after I had gotten it started. So he was able to actually see it running and was like super happy about that. But in memory of Jeremy, I think I'm going to keep it at least for a little bit. Aside from that, I have the Camry that has no problems except for a control arm issue. A very significant bolt had somehow gotten loose and had disattached part of the control arm from the main frame. And that's a very terrifying thing to experience while you're driving, I might add. It basically felt like the front axle was about to fall off any second. And I probably drove it like 10 miles per hour the entire way home that day. And it's been a bitch ever since trying to get that bolt back into the right angle to get it back into place. So I've been just kind of going back and forth. I try not to get too frustrated with car jobs these days because I was getting very frustrated at one point. And so I kind of just like to take it easy now. Aside from that, I also have a 98 Chevy truck that actually crapped out on me on the freeway one night. I don't know why. It's at a friend's house right now. I'm still trying to figure out what the problem is concerning that. I know what you're probably thinking, like, I have crazy good luck with cars, right? Yeah, well, what I can say to that is at least I have cars. I mean, I have these cars, and so I'm grateful that I actually have this opportunity to be able to learn so much about cars and be able to share that with all of you guys. And plus, it's given me the opportunity to start this YouTube channel, which I definitely would not have started or even thought of starting had I not been put into this situation. So I am grateful for that. And it's really become a true passion of mine. And I'm so happy that I have the confidence to share that with the world, considering I'm a very introvert person and usually don't do well with social situations. I'm really starting to see like momentum with like my YouTube, which is awesome. I still don't know what my niche is going to be. If you guys have any suggestions, I'm all ears. Although I will not be wearing a bikini while I do car repairs. I'm sorry. But that pretty much sums it up for me. I guess just tune in next time. I'm going to be teaching y'all how to drive a stick shift. I'm Jackie, your Jackie of all trades. And if you like this video, gently caress that like button for me, will ya? Until next time.